Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the newly released Shadow Alolan Muk, and we're going to have a no XL team for the Open Ultra League here. This is a team I think that Wholesome Underscore created around like 5, 6, 7 seasons ago. A very old team, but it still works super well. I only went positive with this team, did 3 sets and they all went positive, and I had so much fun with this team. This team still works out really well. It's a little bit tricky against Pidgeot, double fighter, but I mean, there's always going to be something that's a little bit difficult, but this team still works out super well. If you have those Pokemon, it's a lot of fun. It's also a triple Shadow team. We're going to take a look today at the Poison Jab variant of the newly released Shadow Alolan Muk. This Pokemon is now available in Rocket Stuffs, but honestly, I've been outside for 1.5 hours just now, and it was so rare. Like, it was super rare to find. I only found this single one here. I found 2 what's called Trico, 2 Trico, and also 1 Fanpy, but I didn't get a Drifloon or a Torchic yet. I'm going to most likely go outside again to try to get them again. But yeah, if you enjoy like this video here and me showcasing the new Muk there, please leave a like on the video, would appreciate it. Also, what Shadow Pokemon do you want to see next? Let me know in the comment section, that would help me out as well. I basically going to try to get, of course, all onto my channel, but here we're going to encounter a lead of the Ampharos that went straight for the Thunder Punch, which I didn't really expect. Usually they go for one more fast move first. But here we're going to be able to catch the move onto our Snorlax and we get out the obstacle. This is why this team also works out still super well. Snorlax is such an underrated say-swap for the Open Ultra League right now. This Pokemon has potential against nearly everything right now, as we can see here that I can just go ahead and destroy that obstacle nearly with that superpower, which sadly still doesn't knock them out quite yet, but we can farm them down with our Muk, and we have some crazy games with Muk coming up as well, as they're going to be able to catch the opponent here off guard with that cross chop. They're going to shield this move up as they're going to have a Trevenant in the back. Now this is going to be a very tricky matchup to win still. They're going to have, of course, access to the move Shadow Ball, which is going to still hurt our Alolan Muk because we don't have the best IVs. So we actually have okay IVs. I'm totally fine with those. But while our typing is resisting this, because of the Shadow bonus, of course, we're going to take 20% more damage. But we also deal more damage. I went for my charge move there because I expected them that they would get to another charge move with the opponent's Ampharos. And I didn't really want to risk shielding up against the Trevenant and farming them down. So that was definitely the way to go, as we were able to farm them down here. Next opponent, we're going to encounter an Alolan Muk in the lead here as well, which has, of course, access to the Acid Spray, which I don't really want to shield, so I'm going to let this move go through. I can go for 2 cross chops, gonna get them low enough that I can even most likely lick them down with our Snorlax here, which they're going to reply there with some Scrafty here. Scrafty is going to be definitely a little bit tricky here for the Snorlax to deal with, but we can go for 1 superpower and we can try to go for another one here as well. But sadly, they're going to throw that charge move first. If this is a power punch, we would survive it, but it's going to be a foul play. Not that bad for us either still, as we can go ahead and have the shield advantage now and farm them down with our Muk, having an energy advantage here now as well. We know that they have a Muk on their own basically in the back, as he can now go ahead and go into the Machamp here, trying to force the opponent to swap out. This will allow us now to get out the Alolan Muk again. We can farm them down, and now the opponent has nowhere to go. We can just go for the Acid Spray, and Acid Spray is going to completely destroy the opponent here. This is so nice with the Alolan Muk, as you're going to see here. They have nowhere to go, they cannot clear the debuff at all anymore, and we're just going to debuff the opponent 4 times now and just farm them down with the fast moves. And like, this is why the Alolan Muk in the Shadow variant will be definitely better than the one without the Shadow variant, because of this playstyle. Basically, going for the Poison Jab there plus Acid Spray is, I think, the only way where you really have a benefit by the Shadow bonus. I think if you would go for the Snarl variant with 2 like more nuke moves, I think that would be kinda something where maybe even the normal one would be a little bit better, but still here definitely the way to go for the Shadow variant. Going for the Poison Jab plus Acid Spray is just such a good combination with having the Shadow bonus, bringing back finally a Poison type again back into the Ultron Great League, which wasn't really the case too much recently, as we had the nerf of Nidoqueen, which kinda, yeah, then went missing afterwards. So very cool to see that back again here, as we're going to encounter the Cobalion. Cobalion is a very common Pokemon in this current meta here. We're going to have to take 1 move with our Machamp. They're going to swap out into the Ampharos, which is really horrible for us here, especially as the opponent has a ton of energy. We can catch the move from the opponent here on our Muk, but this is not really looking too good. We have only the play here to farm them all the way down, but they're still, of course, going to get to another Thunder Punch here, which will not knock us out, but get us very, very low enough that we mostly would die to like 2 of the fast moves of Cobalion. So we're gonna go straight for the Dark Pulse. What do they have in the back? They're going to have a Warren in the back. It's Shadow. Maybe we actually still have a chance of winning this. We see him Peter here on the Rock side. Rock side does a little bit more damage than Cross Chop, and it just literally survives with like 2-3 HP there. Very, very sad for us, but still a good game. As you see here as well, I was doing the battles outside. It was raining like crazy. I'm still going to go outside again, like later after I'm done with this video, but it's still raining like crazy. It's not really a lot of fun to catch those Shadow Pokemon like that, but especially with Storm as well, which was really not fun. But at least I got like this Pokemon here, which I can showcase. I'm going to try to showcase another Shadow Pokemon later as well, so let me know in the comment section which one you're going to want to see. I hope that I get my Torchic still, but I cannot guarantee that because it's a little bit tricky right now. Most of the grunts, as far as I can see, have like the same old stuff that is kind of lame. Like I saw a ton of the flying ones where they always had Ducklet, which was not really the best for me. I actually wonder if Driftloon is also in the flying one. I have no idea. Let me know in the comment section as well if you know that, because I have no idea if the Driftloon is only in the ghost one or also in the flying one. Here we're going to encounter the Cobalion again. This is going to be a little bit of an awkward matchup for us. We can go ahead and go for one charge move there. We're going to be able to go into our Muk, but we have to try to farm them all the way down here. And this is not really looking too good for us. We see the Sacred Sword coming through. We kind of see another Sacred Sword coming through. And we kind of have to knock them out here with a charge move, I feel like. But we're going to see the Jellicent coming in. And now we actually still have a chance now, because Jellicent going to really not appreciate the Muk here, and if we just got to the move there, we might have been able to farm them down with our Snorlax here, trying to lick them all the way down, but sadly like this, they just barely get to the Surf. If Surf needed one more fast move, I would have been actually able to farm them down there, but of course it doesn't, so it doesn't really matter too much. Next opponent, we're going to see a Registeel against us, and we see a Zapdos coming in. This is super, super bad for us, by the way, because Zapdos is a Pokemon that cannot core breaks at all. It resists the fast move of our lead here with the Machamp. It also is good against Snorlax, and also is very decent against the Muk, but actually they didn't expect me to go straight for the Dark Pulse, I think. I think they thought I'd go for the Acid Spray, which now allowed me to only use one shield in order to knock out the opponent. We're going to get some damage on the Registeel, which is actually pretty important because it's going to put them into range where I can just go for counter and the charge move Cross Chop to knock them out. But of course, we encounter another horrible Pokemon in the back for us, which is going to be this Moltres. Moltres is very good against us, but not as good as like if we hit here the Ancient Power on our Snorlax, because it's going to be basically no damage against us. This Pokemon, of course, going to resist our fast move of the Snorlax with a Lick, going to be not very effective against the Dark type. And also, it's going to be able to go for super effective damage against our Machamp there, so it's a really, really bad matchup. But luckily, we still get to the move here with a 1 HP in a Dream, gonna get the shield, gonna get the knockout against the opponent here as well. And Machamp is just going to town here. Like, Machamp, honestly, such a strong Pokemon. Can highly recommend you to try out Machamp again in the Ultra League. Very fun Pokemon. This team in general is a lot of fun. No XL team as well. It should be pretty okay for you to get this one. You can also use basically every Pokemon, I think, also as a non-Shadow variant, but all the Pokemon that are in the team are better as a Shadow variant. Like, there is not the huge difference between it. Like, you can still use Machamp, you're going to be able to, for example, take a Hydrokin from a Swampert a little bit better there, but you're still going to have some issues later on with that one, because you don't do that much damage. Especially Machamp kind of needs to be Shadow in my opinion, but the rest is also kind of fine here. We're going to see here the Manabus against us. Manabus going to be a very bulky Pokemon, of course, which I haven't seen that often in the Ultra League right now. I don't know why. Actually, it should be a pretty decent one to use. But this is going to be actually okay for us, as we can still get to this Body Slime here just barely in time. I think there was a CMP tie as well. It was. And this puts them now easily into range where I can farm down with either of my Pokemon. And now it's Alolan Muk time. Alolan Muk going to be able to just farm them all the way down with the Poison Jab. We see the opponent coming into a Talonflame, and they're actually going to swap out here into the Swampert. This will allow me to just go ahead and spam those Acid Sprays. And this is going to be amazing here. As you're going to see, Acid Spray comes through, going to get the debuff. They're going to go for their charge move. Fine for me. I'm going to shield up as well. I don't really care too much about their boost either. We are still bulky enough, even though we have the Shadow debuff there, but we're going to be able to just get 2 Acid Spray on them, and you see already how much damage my fast move does. It is wild. As you know, go ahead, go into the Machamp, and we don't even bother throwing a charge move there, we just farming them down. Good game there. Next opponent, horrible lead again. Venusaur against us in the lead. That's going to be an iffy one here, as we're going to be able to go ahead and go into our Snorlax. We can go ahead and use one shield here, and we're going to see a Walrein coming in here. That's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to go for a Body Slam first because I don't want to get the debuff here immediately, but we're actually going to be able to get the shield from the opponent, which is amazing, as you see now. With that, we can go for another superpower, and now the opponent is shields down, and this is going to be an interesting one now. We're going to die from this Earthquake now, just because of the debuff. We actually will have survived it otherwise, as far as I know. But we can shield up this move, and it's going to be another Earthquake, forcing the opponent to swap out now into the Venusaur, allowing us to go for one Rock Slide, which will be neutral, which still does a ton of damage here, and we can just farm them all the way down with our Muk before they even get to a charge move, which is amazing. As you now see the Auroras coming in here, it's going to be a tough matchup. But thanks to the Shadow bonus, actually 2 Dark Pulse will be enough to knock out the Auroras, so they cannot farm up too much extra here either, so they have to go for the Meteor Beam here. They're going to knock me out, their attack is going to rise, but we're going to be able to go for another charge move here just in time to knock them out, and the opponent doesn't have energy on the Walrein anymore, so this is going to be a good game there. Next opponent, we're going to see a Swampert in the lead again. A lot of Swamperts, I'm totally okay with that, because when we face it in the lead, we're going to be able to at least get a ton of damage against them here, as they're going to let this move go through. And of course, Swampert is one of the Pokemon you really don't want to face with your Muk in the bag, but we will be able to catch a move here. We always catch all the second Hydro Cannons onto our Snorlax, which is amazing, because this will allow us to get a counter out of the way for our Muk. You really don't want to have a Registeel against your Muk, of course, aligned, so we will be able to go ahead and go for one superpower, forcing the shield of the opponent, and now it's Machamp time as well again. The opponent's Swampert shouldn't be able to do really a lot in this meta, like matchup in general anymore. You see me not throwing my charge move here. Main reason for this is because I knew it wouldn't have knocked them out anyway, so they most likely would have just no shield and still went for the charge move, so here I will be able to knock them out now, and we're going to encounter the opponent's Alolan Muk there as well, but they are running Snarl is a fast move. Snarl generates energy way faster, which might be decent in this matchup, especially as the opponent's Swampert still gets to Hydro Cannon here, but that's all they really get to. But we're going to go ahead and go straight for the Dark Pulse here. We just want to get some damage onto the opponent, trying to do as much damage as we can, but they're actually going to no-shield here as well. I hope that they would shield, but they don't. And now we can take this Dark Pulse from the opponent, but because they don't have Poison Jab, we will be able to now go ahead, go for an Overheating Phone, and also the Acid Spray. Gonna get the shield, and we have still a move stored, which will be enough, of course, to knock out the opponent here, especially with the double debuff of the defense. It's just so much fun to play this team. Honestly, I have a great time playing this team. Hopefully you also have that if you try to do that as well. But here we're going to see the opponent's Gliscor in the lead. That's going to be an awkward one because there's not a lot that I can really do about Gliscor. Gliscor is a core breaker for basically the entire team. Snorlax is a neutral matchup, but the rest is kind of awkward. And speaking of a core breaker for the entire team, that's Toxicroak. I haven't seen a Toxicroak in the Ultra League for ages, but of course, here we go. We have a team that's completely weak against this Pokemon. Surely we're going to encounter this here right now, but we're at least going to be able to get 2 shields from the opponent, allowing me as well to let this move go through here. We're going to rely fully on our Muk here, as you're going to see the opponent going for a charge move here as well. Going to be the Mud Bomb. As we see now that we can farm all the way down, we see the opponent coming into a Gliscor. It's going to be a tough battle to still win here. We're going to see the Earthquake coming through, and we see a Charizard coming in. Sadly, this will not be a win for us, as this Charizard can just go for one Blast Burn, and the Dark Pulse is just barely not enough to knock out the opponent. We needed one shield more to win this match here, but sadly this will not happen here, but very good game. Final game of the video, we're going to encounter another horrible lead with a Pidgeot. Honestly, I should just go straight Rock Slide, because I hit this matchup twice now, and both times my opponent didn't shield, and I don't know why, so like I should have just went for the Rock Slide here and knocked them out immediately. But this time around, I still can go ahead and go for the shield, go for the throw here, and I will be able to realign my Pokemon, hopefully. But nope, they're going to shield this move up. I'm not going to shield this move up anyway. And now it's, again, most likely a Snorlax against the Cobalion, because it's the main team. Yep, it is another Cobalion. So it's going to be an awkward one, and we're going to have to see how we can still win this here. Can we still win this here? The last one we lost, as we saw earlier in the video, I think, as we're going to encounter now a Jellicent. We farmed up to basically 100 energy on our Snorlax, which is amazing, but this is going to be a tough one now to win. They're going to go for one Surf, they're going to put us pretty low. My idea was here, hope that I can farm down after this Dark Pulse, and I think it kind of looks like we can farm down here. And then we might be able to go for an Acid Spray and just go ahead and go for 2 superpowers, but no, the opponent's Jellicent is just too fast with their charge moves. They're going to knock us out here, and now it's all down to Swampert, to Snorlax here. We're going to have to try to bait the opponent. It didn't work out, and at this point of time, this game is over. I can bait another time, but our health is just too low to go for 1 superpower. Or not! We're actually going to be able to just nuke the opponent here, and this is going to be a very good game. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye!